All right, welcome everyone. Today is Monday, May 17th, 2022. In accordance to the provisions of Mass General Law, Section 30A, Section 20, Chapter 30A, Section 20, notice was hereby given that the Planning Board will have a meeting today at 7 p.m. in Meeting Room 124, 1 Liberty Lane, Norfolk, Mass. Alternative public access to this meeting has been provided via Zoom. The application allows users to view the meeting, provide comments during allocated windows. So we do have a few people on our Zoom. I just thought it'd be good to read this in. The meeting will be recorded for future rebroadcast, and further information on Connected will follow. So I'd like to open up the meeting with myself. So we'll go around with the board members. We have John Weddleton, myself, Chad Peck, newly elected Gary Sullivan, and newly elected Eric Diamond. And we have Chris Montfort on Zoom. Can you hear us, Chris? Thank you.
I can, yes.
We will be doing all votes roll call since we do have one of our board members remote. So he will have to, we'll do all of them roll call, and then Chris will have to have his video on when he votes.
Yes.
So the first order of business is the board reorganization. So we have 3 positions, a chair, a vice chair, and a clerk that we need to vote on. And if anybody would like to, I guess, run for a particular board position, now would be the opportunity to speak up. But we'll start with the chairman. Is there anybody that would like to be the chair?
Or nominate the chair.
Or nominate a chair?
I would nominate Chad Peck to be chair, since you're already in the seat, you don't have to move. I think that's kind of efficient.
Here, I second that nomination.
I'm sure you'll do well.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Well, thank you, John. It was seconded. Any discussion? I don't have any discussion, but
Do you accept that nomination?
I do accept the nomination.
That's a good discussion
All
piece.
right, that's
Okay.
a good start.
So do we need
Yeah,
to
then
do
you want to vote, yes.
Okay. So any further discussion before we vote? Okay, no discussion. So there's a motion on the floor that for Chad Peck to be the chair of the planning board for the next 12 months. So we'll do a roll call vote. John Weddleton?
John Weddleton, aye.
Gary Sullivan?
Gary Sullivan, aye.
Eric Diamond, aye.
Chris?
Aye.
And then can I vote for myself?
Yes.
Okay,
of
and
course.
Chad Peck, I vote aye, so it is unanimous. Okay. Next is vice chair.
The president votes for themselves, right?
I guess.
I think, or maybe not. Whatever.
You're lacking confidence if you didn't vote for yourself. That would be terrible.
True. That would be terrible, John. That would be. Vice chair. So do we have any nominations? Does anybody have a
Recording
desire
in progress.
to run for vice chair?
Yeah, I would like to
Recording
nominate
stopped.
Chris Montfort, vice chair, he being the next senior member aside from me, and I've already done my part, so I'm sitting back, if he has time to take it on.
I would accept that.
Okay. I would second that.
And just-
Okay. Any further discussion? We have something in the chat. I can't read it.
John, if you could just get closer to the microphone.
That's
Oh, the-
Karen Riley. He said we can't hear you.
Okay.
She can't hear me.
Karen.
Can you hear me now, Karen?
Yes, thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor for Chris Montfort as vice chair. We'll do a roll call vote.
John
John.
Weddleton, aye.
Gary Sullivan, aye.
Eric Diamond, aye.
And Chad Peck,
Montfort,
aye.
aye.
And Chris Montfort, aye. So it is unanimous. So the last position
clerk.
is the clerk. Typically, the clerk is one of the newer people to the board.
I'm looking at you, Eric.
I second that as the exiting clerk.
Oh, wow. That was quick.
I lucked out.
Yeah.
Somehow you did.
Well, technically, you're not kind of the newest, right? Because you're an associate, but Eric is.
Exactly. He had the associate, so he put in some time.
Sure.
You accept and,
Yep.
okay. So it's been Motion seconded, and Eric is willing to take that on, so we'll do a roll call vote. John Weddleton?
John Weddleton, aye.
Gary Sullivan, aye.
Eric Diamond, aye.
Chad Peck, aye.
Chris Montfort, aye.
Okay. Motion carries unanimously.
Now we need a CPC rep, right?
Yeah, which is,
Which is,
I can do that.
Before we move off of that, do we want to talk about the associate member first, or do we want to?
no, I
do
go
that?
CPC, then go the associate,
Okay, fine. All
yeah.
right, let's do CPC. All right. So we need to appoint a CPC representative, Community Preservation Committee representative. And the term will expire,
Correct, it's a 1 year.
it's 1 year, June 30th of 2023. And I'm sorry,
And you did have a volunteer next to you.
we got a volunteer, right?
excellent.
I can do that, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So do we,
Now you need to vote it, yeah.
yep, any further discussion?
Well, yeah, motion, then vote it, sorry.
Yeah, so do I have a motion then?
Motion to appoint Gary Sullivan to the Community Preservation Committee.
And do I have a second?
Second.
So moved.
Okay, we have a second. Discussion? No discussion? All right, well, let's vote.
Aye. John Weddleton.
Chad Peck, aye.
Gary Sullivan, aye.
Eric Diamond, aye.
Chris Montfort, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, that takes care of those two things.
Okay?
Now you can
Okay.
shift over to the
So
associate.
one of the things that is not on the agenda, printed agenda, but feeds into what we just talked about is the associate member.
It's on the postage agenda, just so you know.
I'm sorry, it's not on the agenda in front of me. It is on the posted.
Yeah,
It's the one that I printed out, the one that I left in your packet, so, under appointments.
Under appointments. Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
So,
So we will move that appointment down to our next order of business here. And so we have an associate member that is interested in running for planning board. And her name is Melissa, how do you pronounce your last name? Mayo. So I will turn the floor over to Melissa and let her speak.
yeah, so if you want to step forward. So Melissa did stop by the office last week.
maybe grab a seat by a microphone, so that way there feeds into the table.
Yeah.
Do I have to sit at this one? or-
No, you
You said the
next
bigger chair, there's room tonight, sure. So Melissa has submitted her application in to be associate member of the planning board. You had a chance to take a look at it, it was on the Google Share Drive, and the associate member is a joint appointment between the planning board and select board, so I'll defer to Melissa to.
Yeah, so it's nice to meet you all. Oh, probably not close enough, right? My name's Melissa Mayo. I have lived in Norfolk for the past almost 5 years. I live in the Fox Run community. I think you guys are familiar with that.
Oh, well,
Yeah, definitely you, for sure.
the older ones are.
Yes. So the first couple years that we were here, we kind of just, we were getting our bearings, meeting people, getting our daughter in school, all of that. And then about 2 years ago, we needed a new board on our HOA. So I was elected the president of the HOA and very quickly got up to speed with the wastewater treatment plant and all other things that were on the punch list for our developer. So I've had some communications with Rich over time, back and forth. It was very helpful. We can put that on the record. Very, very helpful. And then when COVID hit, I think we all had a lot of time at home. I discovered that the meetings, all of the town meetings, were on YouTube. So I just went through most of them. Yeah, and so, I mean, I wouldn't say I officially went through all of them, but the ones that were very, very interesting to me were the B1 committee and the planning board. So those are the ones that I was continuing to follow along with. And I guess those two are just kind of more interesting to me, if you will. It kind of follows along with what I do for work. I'm in construction, so I remodel homes and I also design homes. So there's kind of two arms to my business. And so I kind of live in the world of site plans, bylaws, code books, etc. So I do one house at a time, though, versus, like the developers that you guys talk to. And on B1, I know Mr. DePlacido was a speaker there once. And I found that to be super interesting. So as far as my level of interest goes, I've been asked a couple of times from a couple of people around town if I was interested in planning board. I think they kind of knew that I would be interested based on the things that I typically like to do. And so I thought about it a couple of years ago, but I had just taken on the HOA role, and there was a lot to unpack there. So I decided to hold off, and now my term on the HOA is up in July, and I happened to see that this position was going to be available again. My neighbor actually told me, Gary Searle, told me that the associate member role would be open now that Gary is elected into his 3-year role. And so I figured I would put in my name for the associate member role, and which I know is not a voting member role, which is perfect because I can learn from all of you guys and kind of, you know, the building developments isn't my area of expertise. I've learned a lot from watching the meetings. Doing one house at a time is obviously very different, so I feel like I've been able to learn through all of your meetings, you know, with all of the decisions that you guys have to make here. And just thought that it would be interesting, and I know that it's not always easy for people in the community to dedicate the time to be on committees and boards, and I happen to have the time right now.
Excellent.
Just so you know, you may be in a voting position during some time during the year, because if you attend all the meetings, why that's crucial. And we have a special permit application which you can vote on. If a planning board member is missing, then you would be asked to vote, because all of the special permits need a supermajority, which is 4 out of 5. So on occasion, you may be called to vote,
Okay.
just so you know.
That's
So
fine,
it's
too.
important to attend the meetings, I guess is what
I
I'm
will.
saying.
I would certainly attend the meetings and pay attention,
Super.
and
Well,
be
and you're-
prepared to vote if needed.
And your input is valued as well. I mean, so even though you can't vote, except for on a special permit, your input is obviously valued and can be taken into consideration when we do vote.
Great.
Any other board members have questions? Gary, Eric?
I just want to say, Melissa, we bumped into each other outside of town meeting. You know, we expressed interest in planning board at that time. Glad to see you follow through. Go and meet Rich and Betsy the other day, which is great. You know, I'm the prior associate member, and I think you and I have similar paths there, just an interest in what's going on in town and you know, how we can not really craft it to what we want, but just contribute to the holistic approach to it. So I
Right.
appreciate your time and effort in this regard.
Thank you.
This is the earliest we've ever had an associate member.
Right, we haven't even advertised it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a first.
Oh, good. Usually begging people.
Chris, do you have anything to add?
I was just going to amplify what Gary had mentioned. I preceded Gary as the associate member, and it was through similar means. I was on a planning board meeting and heard about the opening and pursued it that way. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule in order to volunteer and join the planning board in this fashion, should you be voted through.
Thank you. I know I did provide a fair amount of information with the application. There wasn't a ton of room on the form itself. So there was an attachment. I'm not sure if you guys all had a chance to look at that, and there was a link in there to my LinkedIn. So if anybody has any questions about my past work experience, I'm happy to provide more input. But if you already read it all, I don't want to bore you to death. I know it's supposed to be an early meeting for you guys, so I don't want to make it long.
I read it.
I've read it. I appreciate all the information. It was great, and I appreciate your interest in the planning board associate position. And I commend you and appreciate the time you're willing to put into it. If you're elected, if you're appointed, I guess I should say.
So if that's all said and done, I would like to nominate Melissa Mayo to be associate member for the term ending June 30th, 2023, subject to a vote of the Board of Selectmen.
Seconded.
So, any discussion? One thing that came to my mind is, are we required to post this publicly?
No.
And do we have to wait, or is this pure? I'm just asking. Yeah,
We're very thankful we have somebody here to,
absolutely.
Yeah.
no post requirement.
Okay.
No.
No.
Just me.
No, you're not required to. Typically, the posting comes because people aren't
Because
We're usually begging people to come and join us.
Generally speaking.
Want to make sure we didn't jump the gun and there wasn't a requirement to post it for so many days.
No, we're very-
No.
Fair enough.
So if the board feels confident, then we're ready to take a vote.
Right.
I'm good with doing that. So, John,
Aye.
Aye.
Eric Diamond, aye.
Chris,
Chris Montfort, aye.
Chad Peck, aye. So motion carries unanimously. So now it goes to the select board.
We'll let the select board know that we made, that the planning board voted, and they'll take it up at their next meeting.
Great.
So I'm sure that they will be in touch, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll let their assistant know, and I don't know when they meet next, but maybe it's at their next meeting, which,
Okay.
well,
I
no,
will
not
look forward to
technically.
hearing from her.
Right, yep, and you'll be hearing from Judith, and then, once they do that, then you just need to get sworn in by the town clerk.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
We will be in touch.
All right. Thank you guys so
Thank you
much.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah,
Melissa.
thank you, Melissa.
Have a great night.
You too.
So the next item of business is to review and approve decision for 100R Pond Street special permit application to add the dish wireless antennas to the existing wireless facility.
Right, so, I sent you all a draft,
Can you
and I
put
can pull
that
that up, yeah.
on the screen? So that's page 2 of our packet, page 2 through 7.
Pretty simple.
Yep, it looked pretty straightforward.
Is that displaying different than ours?
Yeah, they fixed it.
Looks good. All right, I thought I noticed something different.
We were having our last meeting we were in here, the view was very distorted on the display screen.
Oh,
And I asked IT, and he's like, oh, no, it's supposed to be like that. And then all of a sudden, it's fixed.
So
So
it looks good
Okay.
now.
it
Yeah.
looks good.
Are we going on high definition soon, Norfolk Cable TV?
Well, I don't know. Why don't you ask Andrew? He's back.
I think so,
He said
right?
yes.
Yeah,
Said yes.
said yes.
so the 10 pounds that the camera adds on to now will be relinquished.
Oh, fantastic.
See that?
Wow,
So excited.
I could use
Get
that.
on that, Andrew.
So
Stepping out.
this is just a final review and approval. Are there any questions? Any board members, questions, discussion?
No.
I think
So in
we've all-
terms of this one, so because
Because I sat through all the
you
meetings.
sat through all the meetings, and as associate member, you can vote on what we actually technically need you to vote on, because it requires a supermajority, and so it worked out. Unlike the scramble we were doing for a couple other things before the election, as you probably remember, this one, Gary Sullivan he sat through all the hearings and could vote on it, and
Yep.
as well as the rest of you, because you're full board members.
So if there's no further discussion, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the special permit application for 100R Pond Street.
Seconded.
So we have a motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the
I
vote.
know.
John, what'll,
Chuck Brudamesso from
oh, do we have?
Aerosmith is on the line. Chuck, did you have
Okay.
any comments? I know I sent the decision to you to review.
No, we're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure if you had any questions, that's why I joined, just in
Great,
case.
thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Betsy. Aye. So we will vote. John Weddleton?
Aye.
Gary Sullivan?
Aye.
Eric Diamond?
I think I have to abstain.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. You're right. All right. Chris Montfort?
Chris Montfort, aye.
Chad Peck, aye. So motion carries.
Awesome. And I've got the decision for you to sign tonight. Chris, are you able to come in and see me to sign a few things this week, or?
Ooh, we'll talk, Betsy.
Okay, no problem. I can meet you out in the parking
sure what
lot
that
too, so.
Thank you, everyone.
do
Have a good
drive
night.
by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You might have limited availability.
All
Right?
right, next item on our agenda is Norway Farm Subdivision. It's more of a discussion, nothing to vote and approve tonight, but it's to discuss the trail between Crest, Brook Road and Norway Farms.
Yes.
Rich, do you want to give us a quick quick overview.
Sure. So I know the Rileys are online,
Is Rob here
and
Yep.
Rob is online as well.
on Zoom?
I
Oh, yes, hi, Rob.
saw him there. So I did go out to the site with Rob, but also Barry Riviere, Assistant DPW Director, to take a look at it, what's out there. So it is. So I had thought about consideration of an alternative material that might be a little bit better to maintain in terms of, because it goes, so the path from Crest Brook going through and then over Norway Farms goes through the Rileys' property. And which is a easement there, and that's part of the lot, so that is all there on record, but, in terms of user, it might seem a little bit awkward, right? In terms of going through a planned conventional subdivision, then you kind of go through and it looks like you're walking through their property. So I thought about the grass. I know the Rileys, they'll offer up the thoughts too. I thought of the grass being something that might be a little bit easier to maintain, because in terms of the maintenance of it, the maintenance falls upon the town. It's not within Norway Farms subdivision. So down the road, it will be the town's responsibility to maintain it. And again, it's going through somebody's yard, so the level expectation of maintenance is always tricky with these things, because it's, you have your home, you landscape, you maintain your property to probably much level different than the town can, a lot of these things. So that's why I was just kind of brainstorming as some kind of alternative that might be a little bit easier to maintain long-term. So that was just a thought.
What is the material on the path now?
It's gravel. It's
Gravel.
It's gravel.
Oh.
So,
Did we ask him what required the material when we approved it?
so if you look at the plans, it says 8-foot wide gravel. There isn't a cross-section to say,
Yeah.
So that's where the detail's a little bit light.
What did Barry have to say?
So Barry he wasn't opposed to that notion of having it lawn, because, so for example, we don't have their subdivision plan, but Crestbrook Road, the drainage basin, which is the Coltech similar to Coltech drainage system, is on their lot. So part of their lot has the storm system under the ground. So from a infrastructure standpoint, you don't see, it's on there by the easement, and then off to the wood there's an overflow, and then there's riprap and so forth. But the system is under the ground on their lot. So the idea of, I know they know this, but they're kind of maintaining on top of the stormwater system that the town has to maintain for Crestbrook. I don't think that's the name of subdivision, correct me if I'm wrong, but in any event, it's there.
The part of this walkway is on the Rileys' property?
It is, yeah, because they're, I don't think it's on that plan, but
Which, is there a plan that would?
It's not bad if you can zoom in.
How many linear
I
feet,
can zoom
Rich,
in.
are on Mrs. Riley's property?
The document you had in our folder is pretty clear.
it's pretty clear. It doesn't give you, the only thing with that plan, it doesn't give you appreciation of their property in terms of,
I lost it. Is that the one?
it is, it's just thinking, I mean, well, so, and we could switch out to Zoom, not Zoom, but the online if you wanted.
Oh, to the
It went to the GIS.
GIS?
If you don't mind, if we just went to the GIS, because you can take,
Sure.
Okay.
it shows the shape of their property compared to this, to give some perspective on it. So,
Rich, while that gets pulled up, just a quick question. It's just gravel at this point that we'd ask them to pull
yeah,
up,
gravel
essentially.
is what was,
And there's no medium beneath the gravel, which is a cause for what part of the issue is, right? It's overgrown as a result.
There's no what? I missed that, Chris.
Like a sub base,
There's
do you
no
think?
medium, there's no sub base. The gravel wasn't compacted well enough, so there's things growing through the gravel. It's overgrown, it's not being maintained.
Right, you know, just for your information, on a lot of public parks, state, town, whatever, they use the crushed bank material. You know, a crushed bank material is something that's compacted that doesn't move. It doesn't allow anything to grow through it, and there is zero maintenance. So, and it's also handicap approved. So at a lot of these public walkways, that's what's done. Gravel gets displaced, it'll get weeds in it. And my only concern with the grass is the DPW, as one that built the playground behind the Olive Day, who had beautiful sod lawns there for years, they don't have the time to keep this up. And basically, that's going to become an eyesore, I would guess. I'd like to hear what the Rileys would think
Sure.
as far as the materials that should be used.
Hi, John. Hi to the whole group, and it's nice to see some new faces, so welcome to the new faces. Thanks, everyone, for giving us the opportunity to talk tonight. So we've been through a lot with this, as you know. John, you've been through the whole thing, and Rich and Betsy, too.
Do you want the satellite view, or is that view?
You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
So
Okay,
we're just
so-
getting things teed up.
So
Yeah, just put the
what we have right now is a path that, you know, it's not a path. I think I sent you guys the video, and you saw what that looked like. You know, 8-foot weeds that are growing up. It's awful. So
How do you
it's a failed
get to sidewalk
pathway.
view?
My whole thing with this is, we went back, you know, originally it was going to be a roadway that connected. And, you know, for various reasons, we convinced the board that that was not the right way to go, and I think that was a great decision to not connect it with a connecting roadway into our cul-de-sac. And Rob resubmitted his plans so that he could do the open plan. And, you know, it seemed like that worked out best for everyone involved. And the compromise was this pathway. So nearly 3 years later, this path has never been a path. It's gravel. There is gravel there. It's washed away. It was never sufficient to begin with. And that's not just on our side. It's on Rob's side as well. So, you know, to me, it's a failed attempt at making a pathway. And, you know, my whole question is, we've asked, why is it that we need to have this connecting pathway? The real purpose to having the easement was to allow Rob connection to the various, well, the water main and then also the electrical. And that was all taken care of. And so we achieved that. And this is a disaster. And it's been an eyesore for 3 years now. So nearly 3 years. And so I question, why do we really need to connect these? What is the purpose of connecting these two pieces of land, other than it was the compromise?
I'm thinking, Mr. Riley, that, I'm trying to recall, I think when we suggested that, I think it was made as a walkthrough, so somebody could start at either your street or Norway Farms, and with the sidewalk being put in to connect those two, you'd have a full circle of safe travel around both subdivisions. I'm thinking that probably was the initial reason, which is why also the sidewalk connecting Norway Farms and Crest Brook, Rob was required to put that in. So that's what I guess from recollecting from years ago. But
you're correct.
As far as I'm thinking, as far as I'm thinking, we have easements everywhere, and very few of them are travel worthy. They just grow natural. I know I have two in my own subdivision.
Right. Yeah, and I just feel like we gave this a try and it failed. And, you know, now we're trying to solve a problem that was never done correctly in the beginning. So.
And can I just chime in too? There was mention that typically DPW takes care of easements and things around town. And as you know, prior to this pathway going in and Rob, you know, coming up to get the water, we maintained that property and it was beautiful. And in fact, I'm sure you guys also recognize that cul-de-sacs are also maintained by DPW, but we, on this small street, Bill and I are the only ones in the neighborhood that maintain our cul-de-sac, which gets high marks from the DPW. They appreciate everything that we maintain there, just like we did for the easement. It looked beautiful before. So I just want to chime in that, we will continue to maintain it. DPW does not have to take that on.
It's a good point, Karen, because, technically speaking, the DPW does not maintain any cul-de-sacs. They do not cut the grass strip. So basically, thinking that they're going to maintain this is kind of far-fetched.
Yeah, they shouldn't have to.
Right.
I agree. I think that they've got more important things to do.
And besides, we all know Bill's a school teacher, and he needs something to do in the summer months.
Keep me busy.
There you go.
My perspective is simply you were the one that allowed all this, so I would go to put your wishes up first as far as I would be concerned, and if that is to just leave it grass, that's what I would be for.
That is what I would much prefer to see it go back to that. It's had a no trespassing sign that Rob put up for more than 2.5 years now, and it is not walkable. And yet we still have people that breach the fence that Rob has, and they wander through, and because the pathway is really unpassable, now they wander through our yard. And it's, as I said to you, Rich, it is very disconcerting to suddenly have people walking through your backyard, and however they can get through. It's not right. I mean, that we didn't sign up for that, and it's not a pathway. Doesn't work. Let's go back to grass.
I think Rob should know, or he will know, that easements in this town, by our bylaws, are not allowed to have fencing, trees, any type of structure to inhibit the passing. So if there's a fence up now, Rob, that should come down pretty quickly, because that's against the law. As far as the other, the texture goes, I would see what the board wants to do, but I would not be against grass.
Okay. So, and that's why.
Can I chime in? Am I alive?
No, you can. Yeah. Just let me, just one point, and then I'll defer to you, Rob. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So of course, lost my thought, but I think.
You talk about grass.
Yeah, the grass. So that was kind of the brainstorming that Barry and me with Rob there, in terms of doing something that works long term, to naturalize it back to the way it was before. So anyway, go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry. I know what I was going to say. My apologies.
Jump right in.
All right. Sorry again. I didn't want Rob do anything until there was discussion at the board, because I don't want to have, start something, then there'll be an issue. The board didn't want to have it done and then have to undo things. So go ahead. That was the point I was going to make, Rob. Sorry.
Yep, no worries. So I'd like to point out there's been conversation about gravel being used up there. That was actually dense graded base. I sourced it from Mass Light, Jerry LaRusso's outfit, rather than SM LaRusso, because he has in my mind, a better quality unit material. On top of that, it was all signed off by Tetra Tech when it was seeded, loamed, and the gravel was installed and compacted. And it indeed was compacted well, because I don't know the specs on it, but I have a very large diesel walk-behind generator, or not generator, compactor. Just sitting still, it's 3,100 pounds. So that said, weeds grow. They grow in gutters, they grow in trees. I don't know what to say. I kind of take offense that wasn't built right. So that's part of it. Whatever the board decides on doing, if it's within reason, I'm happy to do it to put this whole thing to bed. I like when you come up with an agreement, what Rich said, before I proceed with it. My attorney's out of town. I would like to have her take a look at it, and we'll get back to you. The subdivision isn't, I'm not planning on getting it to the road and the easement being accepted till 2023 in the fall or the following spring meeting. And then the last issue I want to bring up is the fence. And it's clearly stated in a couple of spots in the my orders of condition that this is private, and not only that, but it in fact is. This is my private property now. And I need to protect people from walking through here where there's construction equipment and, you know, whatever. And to reinforce that, the people that buy a home down here in their purchase and sale, I have a clause allowing them to pass through on my road because it is not a town road yet. And the insurance company and my attorney does not want there to be people walking up and down that trail at this point in time until it's accepted by the town.
It still
So
gets...
those are just a couple points I want to make.
Yeah, that's great, Rob, and I think we regress here, but basically, like I said, if there was an issue with people going through, you should have contacted us because, like I said, fences are not allowed on easements. But that being said, do you have any objection to just picking up the gravel and planting grass if the board agrees for that?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
My thought on that from my landscaping background and what usually, so underneath the dense grade base is gravel. That's what's around here. And that was, so that was last year. Can we go back to the discussion?
Yep.
So from my experience landscaping, my thought would be is to widen up or make less of a slope coming down to where that path is using gravelly fill and loam, and then leaving a little bit of that dense grade base in the center, whether it's a foot, 2 feet wide, rake some loam into that dense grade base and hydroseed the whole thing. And the grass, like Bill's picture, the weeds will grow and the grass will grow, but it will allow it to be green, and where people walk, it won't be muddy, it won't be, you know, it'll define the trail. And that was one of the issues. So however you guys want to, you know, do it, but that was sort of my thought on it.
I have no problem if it changes the slope, plus it saves of removing the gravel and take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, better, lower slope better.
So can I just chime in on that?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we created the slope to make the walkway. We're agreeing that the walkway seems as though that is, you know, not a sufficient way to traverse this area. Raising the grade up again to fill it in with soil and grass it over. I can tell you right now, I'll make it grass. I told Rob when he seeded it, Rob, you remember I told you you'd seeded it too late. The next day there was a killing frost. I told you the grass wouldn't grow. It didn't grow. That's why you have weeds. But you didn't listen to me then, and so it was one of those things where the timing was terrible on it. It was guaranteed to be a disaster. And so I would like to go back to what we had. We used to have a nice sodded property over there with an irrigation system. And that was all undone in the effort to get the water and the electric connected to Rob. And the pathway was just horribly put in and with bad timing. So yeah, if we can go back to what we had, that would be great. That's what we want. But I don't think the town should be filling this in, as far as the cost of the soil. I mean, Rob took the topsoil away, all that fill. I'm sure it was convenient for him to use. I think he should be paying for it to be done. And I'll be honest with you, with all the things that we've had, the issues that we've had with Rob, I really don't want him on our property doing this. I would much prefer if the town was dealing with this. He's had his crack at this. We've lost power because of Rob. We've got this pathway that doesn't work. I've been accused of things I was not, I was accused by he and his lawyer of using profane language. I mean, and John, you remember one of the meetings when Rob was attacking me personally. I know because you walked out of the meeting.
Yeah.
So there's a history here. I don't know what Rob has in for me, but I don't want to have him on our property.
Which is why I've always thought that moving forward was the best way, and that's why I think that Rob had said he was going to pay to fill in the slope and loom and seed it. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought he offered to pay for that expense. Did you, Rob?
I think Rob is left.
Oh, we lost Rob.
You hurt his feelings.
We lost Rob.
So
I understand he should pay for it. What I'm saying, John, is I don't feel comfortable with him on our property, easement or not. You recall he cut out our power, and that's a big issue for us. And
then there's the matter that we, had the sprinkler heads moved based on his path. Rob actually called around a number of different companies, and he had Norfolk Irrigation come in. So now what happens with that? I don't know what that means if he's coming up here with bulldozers again.
I mean, he still owes them nearly $800, and that's a bill that's 2.5 years old. This is a local company that is very reputable. They're terrific to work with, a great family, and he stiffed them after he promised to pay them. This is what I mean. Rob's word is about as good as the dirt that he put on the pathway.
So are you recommending that you don't want Rob to do this construction, and are you recommending you want the DPW to do it?
I would prefer anyone to do it but Rob. I would like to see Rob cut some checks to do it, though.
Rob can do his own part.
It is his responsibility.
The Riley's part, couldn't they, Rich? Or is that too much?
No, I'm not prepared to answer that question
guess
tonight.
We have to talk to the DPW about that.
I mean, it's a little outside the...
Yeah.
But so let's talk a little bit about it sounds like we're all in some sort of an agreement of what the end result is. It's just a matter of who does it. Mm-hmm. And so, which we still need to figure that out. I mean, so how would we move forward with this, Rich? Do we need to, because it would be a minor...
Will be a modification.
Minor modification to the plans,
yeah,
right?
It'll be modification to the plan and to the approval.
Right.
So that...
Can I just chime in for a second? I mean, I think the only modification would be to supply the soil back that he needed to take away in order to get the water and the electricity to his property. And, how he supplies that soil, back to DPW is the only thing, is the only question here.
So the plan, Karen, lists it as a walkway connecting both subdivisions, so we'd have to remove that walkway from the plan.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were agreeing on.
Right, but that would be a minor modification.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, because that's on the original plans. That
Correct,
was a
right,
walkover.
correct.
Okay, yep, sorry,
The easement doesn't
I
go away.
misunderstood.
No.
I'll keep quiet.
Correct, Eric. The easement stays, but the walkway, the trail would have to be removed from the plan as a minor modification to the plan. And then we'd have to address how it's filled in with what type of material. I mean, that seemed fine what Rob had recommended. And then, so you were talking about the sprinklers. So there's sprinkler heads on the easement?
You're muted.
You're muted, Karen. I can't hear you.
Oh, Karen, we can't hear you. Not muted, but.
She's not muted, but Karen, we can't hear you for some reason. You're not muted on Zoom, but maybe you're muted on your ear.
We can't hear either.
Yeah, we can't hear either.
I love Zoom.
Hold on, might be on our end. Hold on, you guys. Oh,
Hear both of you. It's on their side.
There we go.
Okay.
It's on there,
Thanks,
so
Chris.
we're back.
let me just tell Betsy that.
I can hear you guys fine as well.
Okay,
We
so
couldn't hear you here.
Must be in the,
Yeah.
So,
in the building.
Karen and Bill, just real quick, what about you guys
We are-
selecting the landscaper
Yeah,
and
that's
having
me.
Rob pay for it?
We could do that too.
Rather than take up our time, do you want to let Rich get together
Yeah.
with the party?
Yeah.
and decide
Maybe
what's
get,
what?
maybe get 3 bids or something.
Yeah, why don't we, so I think we're all kind of in agreement of the general idea, the
The
general
plan is the
plan.
execution of the plan.
So why don't we have Rich get involved and work with the Rileys and Rob and work out some of the details, and then that hopefully can come back to the board meeting next month with a minor plan modification.
Yes.
That seem acceptable to everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you guys for listening, and it has been a long effort to get to this point, but we definitely appreciate everyone's time and commitment to it.
You're welcome.
And you guys know me, I'm hanging on to hear the Southwood discussion.
I will not be, though. I will hear all about it during the week, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Rob sent me a text saying that it has to be re-engineered. The
I don't know.
pathway.
We'll
Anyways,
come back.
We'll have Rich get with Rob and
Yeah, we'll come back with a,
the Rileys and
Okay.
we'll have that on our agenda for the next meeting.
correct. For June
Okay. Do we need to set, no, do we need
No,
to set an
just be-
appointment or
Well,
just,
We'll do like we did tonight.
yep, okay, that's fine. All right, so the next item on our agenda is endorsement of the 228 Dedham Street site plans.
Sure.
So we have those before us here to sign tonight.
We do, and we have the MacArthur Ave. You can sign them maybe even at the end of the meeting if you'd like.
we already voted to approve the 228 plan.
Yeah, you're just
project.
signing them,
Just
so-
signing it,
Or
okay.
just endorsing the
just-
the plans.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can do that at the end of the meeting.
We'll do that on
Cover
our-
the topics ahead of it, and then you can sign as you,
Okay.
We'll do that on our way out at the end of
Way
the
out.
meeting.
yes. So let's see.
So those-
Minute, yeah, minutes
Yep,
next.
those are the two endorsements. We have meeting minutes to approve for April 28th, 2022.
Do I have to make the motion since I was the clerk at the time?
Sure.
That would be great.
Motion to review and approve the meeting minutes from April 28th, 2022.
Second.
So we'll do a roll call vote. John Weddleton?
Aye.
Gary Sullivan?
Do I vote?
Yes,
I was there.
he can vote because he was there as an associate,
Sure.
right?
And then I.
And then
Eric Down, abstain.
we'll abstain. Chris Montfort?
Chris Montfort, aye.
Chad Peck, aye. So motion
Thank you.
carries. All right.
Excellent.
So the next item on our agenda is town planner updates. Rich?
Sure, so the first topic on the list is just update in terms of the investigation for the new wastewater treatment plant for our town center. In the, I don't know if you saw my little memorandum in terms of on the share drive, but so April 13th, they went out and did the perk test. They were less than 2 minutes per inch.
Doesn't get better than that.
No. So, one of the things that we originally, the engineers had proposed is going out to do to do borings to find the bedrock to be able to get a better profile. But they're entertaining the notion of doing some seismic,
Ground penetrating radar.
ground penetrating radar, to figure out the delta between the bedrock and the sand and gravel, and then hopefully maybe characterize it a little bit further which would actually be a little bit less invasive to do that. So they're investigating potentially doing that as opposed to doing the borings, which would be, if that is the recommendation, that would be good in terms of moving forward. Then after that, then they'll move towards being able to get us order of magnitude what a potential system could be sized at or not sized at. So far it looks pretty positive. I don't have an answer back on the seismic yet. I would think I'd have an answer for the next meeting though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe you
so-
can get that seismic laser to get the abutters to pay the betterment fees.
Right.
A little
So,
pressure.
yeah, a little pressure. Well, we'll
Again,
see.
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, as I know you've been actively following along anyway, but just to recap it anyway. So in terms of the finance, I think since you said money, I always want to have that caveat with this. Everybody's sensitive, and I appreciate it. The financing is based on betterments from the users of it, but also infusion outside money, looking at grants and that kind of infrastructure grants to pay for the cost of the system. It could change in terms of maybe the town wants to do this, but that's not the objective, is to go those two pots of money.
The thing is,
So-
Eric, if this sewer line is going by your house, all the businesses, whether you connect or not, whether you're all set with your septic or not, you get stuck paying a betterment fee. And that could be the political hot potato that stops the thing after 2 years of studies.
It could be, yep.
Right.
And it's going to depend, practically speaking, from finance, it's going to depend on how much money we can get, outside money, grant money, in terms of to help offset that cost. Now, there are, in terms of monies available for sewer infrastructure, they are out there now compared to they were in the years past, so there is a better opportunity overall, but that's going to be a big piece. But we have to kind of step it along, do this piece, in terms of see what kind of system, meet with the DEP, go through that, what might be required, the system, and then inch along, and then we can have better answers in terms of, what the system might be, that we need to engage the property owners again to get, they always ask, which understandably, what the cost is. We don't have good numbers yet. We have orders of magnitude, but that could all change, so.
Is there a spot in the new fire department building to have the septic unit there?
There is a spot there.
You have to
Yeah.
spot.
They've been reserving
Yeah.
a spot for it.
Last time I heard they were thinking of putting it out by the street, which probably is not going to happen. Remember that?
Well, that is the spot, but that thing,
It is. Oh, okay.
that is the reserved spot, not in the back.
That's where they build a little shed with the
yeah,
tanks.
yeah.
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. But I will say at the same time, we're kind of early on to say like that's the exact spot, right? So there's options to explore. But at least depends how you look at it. From a sewer standpoint, it's a positive in terms of the perk tests are good. So that's one step forward, but
Why couldn't we blast a small piece of the ledge behind the building that's not usable and put the shed right there?
we could. The shed's really not the issue. It's the tanks that are on the ground, really more so
Yeah.
of anything else.
Going back to the GPR option,
Yeah.
is that something that'll be acceptable further down the line for design, or are they still gonna have to do borings anyway? And if you can
That's what I got to find out.
spend the
from-
money once or twice?
Yeah, that's what I got to find out to be sure. Yeah, I don't want to do it twice.
Because I'm assuming the GPR is cheaper than the borings.
Right, but if the design's gonna still require that in the end,
Right,
you
then you might as
gotta
well
do
do
it once. And
Right. Exactly.
You know, years ago, our old Board of Health inspector, who was in town for 20 years, Bill Domi, my subdivision has 7 detention basins. We had to bring in the machines to do borings for a detention basin.
Wow.
That's overkill.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
That's overkill.
Yeah,
I know.
it is. No, it's a good point. I mean, if we got to do it again,
Right.
the potential advantage, just in terms of the big picture, is if the seismic could work, it would better inform us in terms of, because we're on the, we've got the conservation property that we're looking at, but also the recreational fields too. So if it helped inform, like,
Right.
if we had to do some swapping around, it would just give us some flexibility. So it might not be all last, but the point's taken, whether we got to do it all over again, it may not make sense, so. I will hopefully have a better answer, or more of an update,
At the next meeting?
Yeah, at the next meeting.
Okay.
Would Board of Health have any input on that as well, or
They would.
the ultimate design?
Yeah, so we did perk tests. They weren't witnessed, but we'll have to go back. We're probably going to have those witnessed again.
And the Board of Health has to approve it.
Yeah, then they have their own regulations, so they would be involved. They'll be involved.
Rich,
Yeah.
just out of curiosity, is there anything that we can do from a financial perspective? I know we just voted on the town budget and everything, but to start putting money aside to kind of offset the betterment fee? I know we're still a couple years out, but if we started putting, some change, so to speak, in a coffer, it might help in the long run.
Well, the hope was that the town wouldn't have to pay for it. It would be all betterments and grants.
Correct.
So the hope
yeah.
was that the town wouldn't have to.
So I guess my argument would be the betterment of town center is to the betterment of the entire community.
Chris, over the past 15 years, we have gone to town meeting with a betterment for sidewalks, redoing the streets, a bunch of other things too. Police cars, buying them and putting money aside ratably because they're always replaced. Capital equipment, every single one has been denied. So basically, they don't want to escrow money for future use,
No.
for anything, which is too bad because it's financially not wise, but that's how the people voted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disappointing, especially, hearing at the last town meeting, they wanted us to take the full 100K for the master plan effort that we were going to do as opposed to 50 now, 50 later.
There's not a, no, I know what you're saying. There's not a great pattern to this stuff, to be honest with you, on to really plan around per se, but John's right. I mean, in terms of the history, but the better history is no to what you're talking about, to put money ahead. That's like I said, again, the plan is to have it so that it's betterments and, outside sources. Now, there might be a point that town may say, okay, maybe we want to put something towards it, but really we're not going down that road. Because, until you have better information, really make better decisions, it's a little too early to kind of talk about that stuff.
Got it, thanks.
Yep.
Let's see, next item. Oh, master plan. That's a good segue.
Yeah.
I do my best.
Excellent. So I will say, it passed, and then they wanted to put the hunt. Now, this is the funny part, in my mind at least, funny what it is, but I don't think the finance department, well, I shouldn't speak, but, we came in with 50 because we were utilizing free cash, but we wanted to make town meeting residents aware that there was a bigger cost, so that it would be forecasted ahead. There's a larger cost, but take it in steps. So that was the model that we went into, and then, as Chris just alluded to, the town meeting, there was like, I want to double it to 100,000.
Yeah.
So there's not always a good rhythm and logic path that you can follow. So
I think it was like, let's just do it all now so we don't have to.
Yeah.
We don't have this as a warrant
Right.
at the next meet at a year from now.
right, it's a lot of unpredictability. So I was like, I thought it was good. So like, okay, we'll take 50 because we use it now. We're not going to utilize, anyway.
Right.
So, excuse me. But having said that, my thoughts are, and I did look a little bit further in terms of master plans. So RFPs, they're not out there that long, actually. And the towns have put them out there 2-3 weeks. So they're not actually advertised that long. So what I'm suggesting is that there are other master plans I'm going to model after. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. Adapt it for us. Give it to you all to take a look at it. And
Not the master plan, the RFP.
the RFP. Yeah, sorry.
The RFP to develop the master
The
plan.
RFP for the master plan, to review it. If it's if it looks in order, at the June meeting, the June 6th meeting, just before the Southwood workshop, just maybe authorize, excuse me, to release it and then have it out there until just before, well, day after 4th of July, be July 5th, for proposals due back, which would be before your meeting in July.
Does that give you enough time to compile them before our meeting?
We'll go through them, and we can report back on July 12th.
Oh, okay, if you,
Yeah, so
that
to be
gives you a
back.
whole week.
Yeah, it gives you a whole week to
Okay,
kind
okay.
of, we could get 5, 3, 10, I don't know,
Right, right.
It's hard to predict. And then, depending upon what comes of it, the responses, then at the 12th meeting, you could decide, we want to kind of narrow it down, set interviews, that kind of thing. Maybe do some interviews between July and August, and then the August 1st meeting, hopefully pick somebody, and then get them underway to start. I mean, it wouldn't start till September, when everybody gets back from summer hiatus,
Right.
but,
That makes sense.
something along that order. In terms of putting advertising, it's not as long as I thought.
Okay.
It's, so, I mean, minimum is 2 weeks, but, so, kind of split it, go 3. So that's my,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Any comments, questions? So hopefully then, by the August meeting, we, could hopefully be making a decision on who
Yeah,
to go with.
that would be the ideal, yep.
Okay. So by the June meeting, we'll kind of bless the RFP to get it sent out.
Which would be a special meeting. I know John's probably, oh no, special meeting. He's been around longest, he's got the tenure, but, so it's a dual function, June 6th.
Okay.
Just a minor business, this would be a business item, that's it though.
Okay. And then July would be
Your regular business, your regular board meeting.
regular board meeting to just go through maybe the short list, discuss some
Shortlist,
things.
whatever
Set up
is-
some interviews.
Yep, whatever
And
interview.
then hopefully then in August we can,
No, you wouldn't be interviewing July 12th though, just to
no,
clarify.
I'm just saying
Yes,
to put the short list together, put a list of questions together and start scheduling some interviews in July.
correct.
And then August, we would hopefully get together and finalize it and make a
Correct.
selection.
Yep, that would be the plan.
Okay.
And which segues into, well, it jumps down the agenda. So have proposed August 1st for your meeting in August? Because I know that, well, I know I'm not around. I know Chad had
I
mentioned.
know
not
you and
around.
I had a conflict on a
Right.
regular night.
I don't know, Eric, in terms of, so August 1st is a Monday, which is not the typical day, but August 1st, proposing as the meeting for August?
I don't believe it's an issue.
That would be okay with Chris? I don't know. John?
I won't be in state.
You will be?
I won't be. I'm going to be in Florida.
You won't.
Okay. You will not be. All right. So that's not going to work because the executive order expires July 15th. I don't think it's going to.
Unless they extend it.
Huh?
If they're gonna extend
Yeah,
it.
unless they, let's see.
I'm not back until the week of the 15th.
So selfishly, I will say, having a planning board meeting after being off didn't go well in April as well as I would have liked, I think, in terms of,
It's understandable.
yeah, for
A
all
lot to
parties.
catch up on.
Yeah, a lot for the board and myself, so it wasn't great. So we could, and I'm out of the country too, so I'm not even, I'm off the grid. So if we did, we push it further into August.
So you're thinking the week of the 22nd?
No, that'd be when I'm back. I'm coming back the 19th of August.
Oh, you're coming, oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's the week. So you could do the, well, is it the 30th?
It's a Tuesday.
So Tuesday, the 30th?
First day of school for town.
Oh,
Is that a tough?
No, just saying. I'll have some sanity back for the morning.
That's fine.
We could go with August 30th. Chris, is that, I'm assuming you're
That
back?
works. Yep. That's good.
All right, we can go to August 30th.
Tuesday.
All right.
Okay.
And then, so then, they can be back at on September 13th, which is probably okay, right? All right.
Yep.
All right, that works.
And then we'll have to look at October. I've got a conflict in October.
Yep.
But we don't have to talk about that tonight.
Okay, all right,
It's quite a ways out
all right.
to plan.
So in terms of, so then we'll get back to that. Well, actually, if you want to take it out of order, you want to just vote on August 30th now, just so we have it? And then I
We
can
have
go
to vote now?
back. I like to have you vote, that way we can
Hold
get
us
it out.
accountable?
Yeah, hold you
I
accountable.
mean, not sure anything.
So,
So we're gonna go from, so the gap would be July 12th and then.
yeah, it's August
Fast forward,
30th,
okay.
right? Yep.
So it's like, it's kind of like a vacation.
It's like 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of a vacation.
enjoy.
I mean, we can schedule one in between if you want.
It's a summer.
I'm
What are we doing?
actually, I am in Florida the 2 weeks before that, so.
Okay, so
better be
that'll
anyway.
probably,
Everybody seems to take vacations in August. It's just the way it
yeah, no,
is.
it's
Yeah.
pretty,
Yeah.
it's pretty common
So
practice.
you want,
I mean, you don't have to vote if you don't want, but it'd be nice to have you vote. That way we gotta, say, remember when I asked you to vote on May 16th for that
I
August?
don't think we really need to
I think
vote
we
on
just,
that.
You don't need to vote
All
on
right, that's
We're all
fine.
in agreement.
All right, that's good.
As
Good
long as
enough.
we're in
Fair
agreement
enough.
that
it.
Tuesday,
I'm just gonna put it on.
We're gonna put it out there on the calendar.
we're gonna move the August meeting to August 30th.
Yep.
It was a vote by consensus without a vote. All right.
Here you go.
I thought I was going to get Eric's first vote tonight, but couldn't work on it. All right, so then I'll circle back up. So in terms of Southwood Hospital update, so from the last planning board meeting, which was April
28th.
28th, Josh Fiala from MAPC had met with GFI Partners, met with Andy Baganowski, I know that. I know he met with the neighbors of Southwood. I don't know. I didn't get the list of who all participated, but I know he
Okay.
met with those three
Sure.
groups from the last meeting. And then, so we do have, so the public workshop is June 6th. We pushed it out, and Karen thankfully helped us and pushed it out to Facebook. It is
June
on
6th here.
June 6th. No, it's virtual.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
All
you-
virtual?
it's all virtual.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Okay,
all
so it's
virtual.
not
So
in
it's
town
not a
hall.
hybrid, both.
No,
Okay.
Okay.
I
'Cause it
don't
was
think I
at-
advertised.
Last I
It
saw,
was, it was advertised.
What did I advertise it? Let me correct, sorry.
last I saw was in person or virtual.
Right.
Because I made a copy
that's
of the
what I
flyer.
All
Hold on.
right, my bad, my apologies.
Next time you're gonna vote on it.
It says location Norfolk Town Hall and Zoom.
All right,
Perfect.
but you can
Right here.
participate virtually if you want. How's that?
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming here.
It's optional. All right. I'm just thinking.
But you have to register to get the information.
Yeah.
Yes, you do need to register.
Yes.
But the planner will be in this room. Josh.
I think the planner Josh is gonna be
Virtual?
virtual. This guy will be in. This planner will be in the room, but
And what about GFI?
they'll probably be. Well, I don't know. They might be. I don't know. That's a good question.
I'd like them to show up.
It would be good if they,
are we posted for that? Or we will be
We
posted?
will post.
Will be po-
We
you
will
will
be
be
posted.
posted.
Yeah. So.
I think it'd be good if GFI, I mean, I get it if they're virtual is the best way to do it, but it would be nice if there was
So
some.
let me check with Josh.
Best way to do it is face to face.
Yeah, let me check with Josh. I'll send you an email. He might be in the room. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
I got two of them in my head because we're also doing the Metacomic Greenway
Oh, right.
for the, and that's all virtual.
Right.
Okay.
All right, you can check
Okay.
that out.
Let me check
Let
on
us
that.
know.
So that one's not. Yeah, it's not technically on the agenda, but anyway, May 26th, we'll be sending out a flyer for the Metacomic Greenway. which is a
Yes.
virtual meeting,
Okay.
which is the old rail bed, which is also on the GFI property and then runs south to,
Goes from Walpole to,
goes all the way down to Cumberland, Rhode Island, actually.
Yeah.
Rail bed, so. So I'll send out the flyer, but that one is all virtual, sorry, but. And then I know that there was a email, and then you were copied on it. I know there was an email, that the neighbors had reached out to them about trespassing again on the people. I don't know. Were identified, but there was people trespassing into the building, and they sent out a response this afternoon, so I think you were all copied on that.
That's been going on forever.
Yeah, but, you know, again, they did email everybody back and, report back on that. But- So that was
That's it.
it,
that was it.
yeah.
Any other updates, Rich?
I don't have any. Just to update, oh, sorry, but you can get a preview though. If you look at the bottom of your agenda, gives you a preview for June though. Fire station.
Fire station.
We think. We haven't
think, could be.
seen the application.
Didn't see the application, but they might actually be before you for a site plan approval.
Really? Holy cow.
That was quick. That was the,
We'll talk about that septic area.
We'll be talking about the septic
I
area.
didn't think they were gonna be, okay, I didn't think they were gonna have anything for a few months yet.
that was their hope, was to have it in for our June 14th meeting, so.
Yeah. And then.
Stay tuned on that.
Stay tuned on that. And then the other one, I'm wearing like two hats here for the pavilion for the Council on Aging. I'm helping out Sherry, who's the Council on Aging Director, who's retiring. Just in terms of working on the pavilion that, if you remember, town meeting.
Town meeting, we funded.
Yeah. But also potential a parking lot expansion reorganization too, so. I have to go back and forth, that side of the table and this side, but anyway, so. That's informal, so it's not a formal application, just to get your feedback.
We love informal.
Yeah. So, that's it for myself for this evening. I don't know if there's any.
Is there any other new business? Anybody? Chris?
No, just again, congratulations to both Eric and Gary on your elections. Really looking forward to working with you guys across this year.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Actually, next 3 years.
And I guess I learned something I didn't know, that you actually ran a write-in campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that
Effectively.
before, so that's something.
You ran it very well.
Yeah, very
You got a
well.
lot of votes.
I was unaware of that. Did actually, like, it was, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, did a great job. I guess we just have Karen on, so I don't think there's anyone else from the audience.
Just a dog. So moved.
Okay, roll call vote, John,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Eric,
Uh,
Chris,
Aye.
and Chad Peck votes aye. It is unanimous. We are
Hooray.
adjourned.
All right.
Thank you, good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.